All right, let's look at separable equations. So separable equations are a particular form that we're going to ask of our differential equations and they'll lead to solutions. Getting in this form makes it easy for us to set up integrals, and those integrals can let us find other forms sometimes. What we're going to look for is we're going to have the first derivative is equal to some function of f of xy. So we're going to have it in that kind of standard form. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a restriction, or at least we're going to look for very particular forms of f of xy. What we want is the ability to write f of xy as some function of x. We'll use the same variables that your book does, times some function of y. And if I divide both sides, or divide both sides by p of y, and multiply both sides by g of x, I have everything representing the y variable on one side and everything representing the left variable on the other side. And again, y and x is kind of our go-to notation for the dependent variable and the independent variable. This may change on the system that we're looking at as variables change to better represent what we're doing. Now, a lot of notation will say that h of y is going to be equivalent to 1 over p of y. So this is h of y dy equals g of x dx. And then we dig deep back into the recesses of our mathematical memory, and we ask ourselves, what can I do? Well, I can integrate, and whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side. And what you get is the left-hand side will become the antiderivative of hy, and the right-hand side will become the antiderivative of g of x. And we usually put the constant with the independent variable. This lets us, if we can, solve for y as a function, but this does not always guarantee there will be a functional form. Sometimes implicit forms come out of this. And so this is the process for separable equations. We sometimes call separating the variables. And what I want to do here is I'm going to do an example in the next video. I'll put this into two parts so we can see this in work.